Good morning, students. I welcome you all for commerce class. Today, we are going to start with a new unit, that is Unit 6, Consumer Protection. Under that, we are going to discuss about Chapter 16, Consumerism. So, consumerism deals with protection of consumers only. How the consumers are being exploited and how the consumer can be saved from being exploited. That's what we are going to discuss in this chapter. During olden days, before industrial revolution, most of the people lived in rural areas and the farmers produced the substantial portion of the goods consumed by them. That is, majority of the goods was produced by farmers in order to consume those goods. Those days, businesses were small and the manufacturers produced only those items which could not be produced in agriculture. So, as a nation slowly became industrialized and the society is becoming pluralistic, the raw materials changed their characters through advanced technologies. So, technologies was put in this world in order to produce more and more products in order to satisfy the expanding demand of the consumers. So consumers started to depend more upon the business for their satisfaction and their fulfillment. Hence, there are three constituent elements of business, namely producer, the consumer, and the government. The consumer is the most exploited constituent in the business world. This lesson briefly explains about the consumer exploitations and how the consumers should be protected and what are the ways of protection of consumers. First, we'll move on with who is the consumer. The consumer is one who consumes the goods which are manufactured and sold by others or created by nature and sold by others. One who avails services such as banking, transport, insurance, etc. is also called a consumer. In other words, a consumer is an individual, is a single man who consumes goods manufactured by firms or created by nature like air, water, etc. And they also receive certain services from the government, firms, hospitals, educational institutions, etc. Next, we'll move on with meaning of consumer according to Indian Consumer Protection Act 1986. A person who buys any goods or services for consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid and partly promised or under any system of deferred payment is a consumer. It means a consumer is a person who buys any goods or uses any services for a consideration. Consideration means for payment which has been paid or promised to pay or partly paid. Sometimes what we'll do, we'll purchase a product, we'll pay half amount and rest of the amount we'll pay through installments. So that also can be done. Who does this activity as deferred payment, that person is termed as consumer. If a person purchases a goods for resale or for any commercial purpose, he will not be termed as consumer. However, if he is buying only for the exclusive use of his livelihood, then only it will be termed as consumer. In theory, all business enterprises consider consumer satisfaction as their main objective. So, a consumer is said to be the king of the business. Consumer occupies a central position in the business, even though consumers have not always received the attention they deserve. In reality, consumers are sometimes cheated and exploited in many ways. In the practical world, a consumer is a slave and not a sovereign as described. As already said, consumers are the kings, but it is not true because the consumers are mostly being cheated through many ways by the marketers and businessmen. The consumer's well-being or the welfare of the consumers lies only when they are fulfilled about the normal legitimate interest, expectations and aspirations as to goods and services they need are satisfied. Each and every consumers or customers is worried and harmed till buried about the quality, quantity, price, and the timeliness of supply of goods and services they need. Next, we'll see some of the ways in which consumers are being exploited. Consumer are being exploited. What is the meaning of it? Exploited means they are being cheated by many ways. The first way is selling at higher price. The prices charged by the seller for a product service may not be commensurate with the quality, but at times it is more than the fair price. Sometimes in the label it will be different price and the seller will sell it at a higher price than which is the market price. Even though sellers have surplus or adequate goods, they create artificial scarcity in the market with an intention to push up the prices. No other go, the consumers what they will do, they will purchase the products because of shortage of supply of goods even though it is sold at a higher price in the black market. Here is a picture for selling at a high price. See, that man is worried about the bill cost 430. Actually, he is having a ticket of rupees 230, but the bill is showing at 430. Next, we the consumers are being exploited to adulteration. It refers to mixing or substituting undesirable material in food. This causes heavy loss to the consumers. This will lead not only for the loss but even of spoilage of health. But adulterators make illegitimate profit while prudent businessmen aim at normal profit whenever unscrupulous traders seek to reap higher profit because of their greediness. To earn more money, adulteration is quite common in food articles. Examples: chemicals, detergent chalk, urea, caustic soda, etc. are added to make the milk dense and white. Then mixing of stones with grains, mixing of coconut oil with palm oil in. Here is a picture of how chilli powder is adulterated with sawdust and brick powder. Sometimes artificial colors are also used for chilli powder. This artificial color can create cancer. Then honey is also adulterated with water and table sugar to enhance the quantity. Next, powdered rice or wheat is adulterated with starch. Coffee powder is adulterated with tamarind seed. Spices like turmeric powder is adulterated with methanol. Papaya seeds is added to black pepper in order to increase the weight. Chilli powder, as we saw in the picture, is adulterated with brick powder. The third way of exploiting the consumers is through providing duplicate or spurious goods instead of original products. Duplicate products of popular products are illegally produced and sold. Duplicates are available in plenty in the market for every original and genuine parts or components like automobile spare parts, blades, pens, watches, radios, medicines, jewellery, clothes, and even for currency notes. Duplicate medicines are also sold in large measure from Cape to Kashmir. Since the duplicate is same like original, we the consumer are not in position to distinguish duplicate from the original. Next way is through artificial scarcity. There are certain situations where the shopkeepers put up the board no stock in front of their shops. Even then, they will be having the stock in plenty, but even though they will be mentioning as no stock. Why? What is the reason for such situation? Because in order for making the consumer exploit to buy such products or goods at higher price because of the demand for that product. Even in cinema houses, board may hang in main entrance like houseful, but the cinema tickets will be there available. Instead, they will sell it at a higher price in the black market in order to earn more money. Next, consumers are exploited by substandard product. After the purchase of a product by consumers, on opening a packet or sealed container, one may find the content to be of poor quality. The defective or damaged items are found in a pack means the consumer will find it difficult to exchange it back to the seller. Same way, whenever the goods are bought, seller try to avoid raising bill or consumers do not demand bill as a matter of right. This prevents the consumers from escalating the complaint against the seller where the product happens to be of substandard. Some sellers give bills which contain a stipulation that goods sold cannot be taken back. Thus, gullible consumers are easily and legally cheated. Gullible consumers means the consumers who blindly believe the sellers. Next is product risk. Whenever the usage of goods is likely to cause danger or hurts to consumers or customers, manufacturers have to forewarn the consumers of various sources of dangers involved in the products and the precautionary measures to be taken by the consumers. Meaning is, certain products will be at higher risk when it is used by the consumers. So normally it is a duty of the manufacturers or the sellers to provide necessary information regarding the dangers that is involved in using that product. So what are the precautionary steps or precautionary measures to be taken before using that particular product which the consumers has purchased? So in the absence of such information or warnings, consumers are more likely to encounter risk while using the risky products. Next, we'll move on with how consumers are being exploited through warranty and services while purchasing the durable products, which it is mentioned in the warranty card. In case of consumer durable goods like televisions, washing machines, refrigerators, cars, two-wheelers and air conditioners, etc., free service is guaranteed only for a few years, called as warranty period. As you all know, you would have purchased certain goods like televisions, two-wheelers, washing machines. Your parents would have purchased and you would have seen the warranty card. Is it not, students? But in reality, free service are denied on flimsy grounds even during the warranty period. This is not fair on the part of the seller. Warranty service may not be extended to many parts or components of the product sold. Thus, consumers may be charged exorbitant charges in the name of repair costs. I think so in your families also would have experienced this same situation. Next is selling of unsuitability of products. Sometimes in the market, some of the products will be sold like this: unbreakable. It will be mentioned on the product, or the seller himself will inform about the characteristic features of the product like unbreakable products or leak proof product. So in such a case, the consumers, what they do, they believe in that words of the seller, and what they do, they purchase the product. In all these events, users or consumers have to bear the consequence, while producers or manufacturers escape utilizing the loopholes in this legal system. Sometimes the products which we purchase will not be as so like unbreakable. It will break as soon as possible. It will not be leak proof. It will leak out. So only thing they are trying to exploit the consumers by adding such words. Next way is providing false advertisement. Normally, all the consumers will be attracted by the advertisement of different products. The main purpose of advertisement is to what? To educate the consuming public and customers of various aspects of the products or services. In reality, sometimes the advertisements convey very little information about the product. Many times it makes false representations about the quality, price, grade, composition, utility guaranteed, performance, etc. Consumers who try to buy the products on the faith of claims made in the advertisements are normally exploited. Thus, consumerism has emerged and evolved out of outcome of sufferings and exploitations of consumers, whose sole aim is to secure protection from commercial terrorism and exploitative practices. So, there prevails a terrorism and exploitative practices that makes a consumers being exploited, and thereby consumerism has brought in order to safeguard the interest of the public, and also by establishing certain rights and powers against unscrupulous producers and sellers. By this, students, we come to the end of this part 1 under Unit 6, Consumerism. Thank you, students.